The accidental signal. The survey ship Light of Dawn moved slowly through a dark and quiet part of space. It was not a warship. It had no heavy weapons, no thick armor, and no soldiers on board. It carried scientists, engineers, and explorers. Their mission was simple: map a strange energy field near the edge of known space and return home with data. Captain Aaron stood on the command deck, watching the stars drift across the main screen. The region was calm, but it felt wrong. There were no trade routes here. No patrol ships. No friendly stations. "Strange readings again," said Lyra from the sensor console. "Energy spikes on the outer edge of the system." Aaron frowned. "Natural? I don't think so." Before Aaron could reply, the ship shook hard. Red lights flashed across the bridge. "Impact detected," Lyra shouted. Another explosion hit the rear hull. The calm darkness outside filled with bright engine flares. 3 large ships dropped out of warp behind them. Their hulls were black and rough, covered in weapons. "Pirates." "Shields at 40%, someone called out. "They are hailing us," said Lyra. The main screen flickered. A harsh face appeared, scarred and smiling. "You are far from safe space," the pirate leader said. "Power down your engines. Send over your cargo and crew. Resist, and we destroy you." Aaron's hands tightened on the command rail. "We are a civilian science vessel. We have no cargo of value." The pirate laughed. "Your ship is the cargo." The transmission cut. More shots slammed into Light of Dawn. The ship groaned under the damage. "Shields failing," Lyra cried. "Engines?" Aaron asked. "Not enough power to outrun them." The crew looked at their captain. They were not fighters. They had no training for war. They had never faced real violence before. Aaron made a fast decision. "Open emergency channel," Aaron ordered. "Wide spectrum. Full broadcast." Lyra hesitated. "That will send our position to everyone." "Yes," Aaron said quietly. "That is the point." The ship shook again as another blast tore through the outer hull. "Broadcasting now," Lyra said. Aaron leaned toward the microphone. "This is civilian research vessel Light of Dawn. We are under attack in Sector 97. Requesting immediate assistance. Repeat, we are under attack." The message went out in every direction. It was blind and desperate. No one knew who might hear it. Maybe no one would. Far away, in a cold region of space far from busy systems, a small Terran listening station floated in silence. It was little more than a metal structure with antenna arrays stretching wide like thin branches. Inside, a human technician named Owen sat alone, drinking strong coffee and watching signal traffic scroll across a screen. Most of it was background noise. Static. Old signals. Nothing important. Then a spike appeared. Owen blinked and leaned closer. "Open channel distress," he muttered. He replayed the signal. The voice was not human. The language was unfamiliar. But the translation software worked quickly. "Under attack. Requesting assistance. Sector 97. Owen sat up straight. That sector was beyond Council territory. No official patrols. No treaties. He tapped his console and routed the signal to Earth Command. Within seconds, a calm voice answered. "Deepwatch Station 3, report." Owen cleared his throat. "We intercepted an open distress call. Civilian vessel. Active attack. Coordinates attached." There was a short pause. "Is it confirmed hostile engagement?" "Yes, sir. Multiple energy signatures. Looks like pirates." Another pause, shorter this time. "Forward to Fleet Command. Mark as priority." Owen watched as the data transferred across secure channels toward Earth. He felt a strange chill. Someone out there had asked for help. And Earth had heard it. On Earth, in a quiet command room deep beneath the surface, officers studied the incoming data. A large display showed the location of the distress call. "Unregistered vessel," said one officer. "Not part of Council space." "Doesn't matter," replied Admiral Hayes. The room went silent. "Are we responding?" another officer asked carefully. Hayes looked at the tactical screen. 3 pirate ships attacking one small civilian vessel. "Yes," he said. "We are." He pressed a control on the table. Alert the nearest task group. Prepare for warp. Back in Sector 97, Light of Dawn was losing power fast. Shields gone, Lyra shouted. A pirate ship moved closer, preparing boarding pods. Aaron's heart pounded. They had done everything they could. Any response? Aaron asked quietly. Lyra checked the console again. Static filled the channel. No response. Another explosion rocked the ship. The hull cracked along one side. The pirate ship slowed, confident in their victory. Then space itself seemed to tear open. A massive warp signature flared at the edge of the system. Bright blue light stretched across the darkness. The pirates turned their sensors toward the new arrival. Something enormous was coming out of warp. The crew of Light of Dawn stared at the screen, confused and afraid. The pirate leader opened a channel again, his smile gone. What is that? The warp light faded. A giant metal shape emerged from the distortion. Its hull was scarred and gray. Weapons lined its surface in careful rows. Engine arrays glowed like distant suns. On its side, simple white letters were painted clearly. Earth Defense Fleet. Inside the human ship, alarms were calm. Systems were ready. Weapons locked. Engines steady. A quiet voice spoke on an open channel. This is Terran warship Resolute. You are engaging a civilian vessel. A short pause followed. Stand down immediately. The pirates did not answer right away. And in that silence, the balance of the entire battle changed. The Death Worlders arrive. The pirate ships floated in silence for only a few seconds. It felt much longer. The massive Terran warship hung in space like a metal mountain. It was bigger than all three pirate ships combined. Its hull was dark gray, covered with heavy armor plates and long railgun barrels. Small lights blinked across its surface in clean, steady lines. The name on its side was clear. Resolute. Inside the pirate flagship, the crew stared at their scanners. Energy output rising. One pirate said nervously. Weapons systems fully active. The pirate leader growled. It is only one ship, but even he did not sound confident. On the bridge of the Resolute, Captain Reed stood tall, hands behind his back. His officers worked calmly around him. No one shouted. No one panicked. Target locks confirmed, said the weapons officer. 3 hostile vessels. Multiple boarding craft ready to launch against civilian ship. Distance? Reed asked. Within effective range. Reed looked at the image of the damaged alien vessel on the screen. Its hull was broken in several places. One engine was offline. It was barely holding together. Open channel again, Reed said. A signal went out across open space. This is Captain Reed of the Earth Defense Fleet. Pirate vessels, power down your weapons and withdraw. You are in violation of interstellar law. For a moment there was silence. Then the pirate leader appeared on the screen. His face was no longer smiling. This territory does not belong to Earth, he said. Leave now, or you will be destroyed. Some of the human officers exchanged quick glances. Not fear. Just quiet disbelief. Captain Reed gave a small nod. Understood, he said calmly. He turned slightly toward the weapons officer. Fire. The first railgun shot left the Resolute at near light speed. There was no bright beam. No dramatic sound in space. Only a flash of energy from the barrel. 1 second later, the lead pirate cruiser exploded. The metal hull broke apart as the projectile tore straight through its core. Fire and debris spread in all directions. On the pirate flagship, alarm screamed. They destroyed it in one hit, someone shouted. Before the pirates could react, the second railgun fired. The second pirate ship tried to turn away, but it was too slow. The shot hit near its engine block. The entire rear half of the ship vanished in a burst of flame. Only the flagship remained. On board the Light of Dawn, Captain Aaron and the crew watched in shock. They did not even hesitate, Lyra whispered. The pirate flagship powered up all weapons and fired at the Resolute. Bright plasma bolts crossed the darkness and struck the Terran warship's shields. The shields flared blue, but held strong. Shield integrity at 98%, the human tactical officer reported calmly. Captain Reed did not raise his voice. Disable their engines. Leave the bridge intact. Yes, sir. Precise laser fire lanced out from the Resolute. Instead of random destruction, the beams struck specific points along the pirate ship's hull. Explosions rippled along its engines. The flagship lost power and began to drift. Silence returned to the system. Inside the pirate ship, systems were failing. The leader stared at his dead consoles in disbelief. They could have destroyed us, one pirate whispered. Yes, the leader said slowly. They chose not to. On the Resolute, Captain Reed gave his next order. Launch boarding teams. From the underside of the Terran warship, several armored pods detached and sped toward the disabled flagship. Unlike most species in the galaxy, humans trained for close combat in heavy gravity. Earth's gravity was stronger than most habitable worlds. Their bodies were dense, their bones thicker, their muscles stronger. When the boarding pods attached to the pirate hull, cutting torches burned through metal like paper. Inside the pirate corridors, fear spread fast. The first human soldier stepped through the smoke. Heavy armor, magnetic boots, visor glowing faint blue. Behind him, more followed. The pirates opened fire. The humans advanced anyway. Shots hit their armor, but the Terran soldiers kept moving forward in steady formation. Their movements were fast and controlled. Every shot they returned was accurate. Within minutes, the pirate crew was disarmed and forced to the floor. No unnecessary killing. No shouting. Only clean, efficient action. Back on the bridge of the Light of Dawn, Lyra stared at the tactical screen. They fight like machines, she said softly. Captain Aaron shook his head. No. Machines do not choose mercy. A new signal came from the Resolute. This is Captain Reed. Boarding operations complete. Pirate vessel secured. There was a short pause. Civilian vessel, report your condition. Aaron quickly opened the channel. This is Captain Aaron of the Light of Dawn. We are heavily damaged. Life support unstable in 2 sections. Understood, Reed replied. His voice was calm and steady. Medical and repair teams are on the way. Small support ships detached from the Resolute and moved toward the damaged science vessel. The humans did not celebrate their victory. They simply began helping. As Terran engineers crossed into the alien ship, they moved with purpose. Tools in hand. Clear instructions. Quick repairs. Human medics followed behind, scanning injured crew members and applying treatment without hesitation. One alien crew member looked up at a tall human medic. You came even though you do not know us, the alien said weakly. The medic gave a small nod. You asked for help, he replied. That's enough. Outside, the pirate flagship drifted powerless. Inside the system, only one warship remained fully armed and fully ready. The Resolute held its position, guarding both vessels. Far beyond the stars, news of this battle had not yet spread. But in this quiet corner of space, one truth was already clear. The aliens had sent an SOS. And Earth had answered. The price of protection. The system was quiet again. Broken pieces of pirate ships floated slowly in the dark. Small fires burned out as the cold of space swallowed the last heat of battle. The disabled pirate flagship drifted without power, surrounded by Terran boarding craft. The massive warship Resolute stayed between the wreckage and the damaged Light of Dawn, like a silent shield. Inside the alien science vessel, human engineers moved quickly through narrow halls. They sealed broken pipes, restored power lines, and reinforced cracked walls with temporary metal plates. Captain Aaron watched in disbelief. The humans worked with speed, but not panic. Their movements were calm and planned. They spoke in short, clear sentences. Section 3 stable. Life support restored to 80%. Engine core secure. Within 2 hours, the ship that had been near death was breathing again. Lyra stood beside Aaron and whispered, They repair faster than our own dock teams. Aaron nodded slowly. They prepare for disaster. On the Resolute, Captain Reed studied the tactical display. The pirate flagship was secured. Prisoners were contained. No further threats detected in the area. Status of civilian vessel? Reed asked. Stabilized, replied the operations officer. Minimal casualties. They were lucky. Reed gave a small nod. Not luck. Timing. A junior officer hesitated before speaking. Sir, long-range scans show faint warp signatures near the outer edge of the sector. Reed's eyes narrowed slightly. Reinforcements. Unknown. Possibly more pirates. Reed did not look worried. He simply adjusted his stance. Recall all boarding teams. Prepare defensive pattern. On the captured pirate flagship, the leader sat in restraints on his own bridge. Human soldiers stood guard. The pirate's expression was no longer proud. It was careful now. A Terran officer stepped forward. Your fleet attacked a civilian vessel, the officer said. They were alone, the pirate replied. Weak. And that made it acceptable? The pirate said nothing. The Terran officer looked at the shattered view screen showing the destroyed pirate ships outside. You made a mistake, the officer said calmly. You assumed no one would answer. The pirate leader finally spoke again. Your kind is feared for a reason. You are Deathworlders. The officer did not deny it. Yes, he said. And you attacked someone smaller than you. Back on the light of dawn, Captain Aaron received a direct communication request from the Resolute. The human captain appeared on the screen. His uniform was simple. His face serious, but not unkind. Your vessel can travel? Reed asked. Limited speed, Aaron replied. But yes. We will escort you to the nearest safe system. Aaron hesitated before speaking again. Why? He asked. Reed's expression did not change. Because you requested assistance. It was a blind call, Aaron said. We did not know who would hear it. You do not need to know, Reed replied. Distress signals are not selective. Aaron studied the human for a moment. There was no arrogance in his tone. No demand for payment. No threat. Just certainty. Thank you, Aaron said quietly. Reed gave a short nod. Stay close to our formation. The channel closed. At the edge of the system, faint warp flashes appeared. 3 new ships exited faster than light travel. Larger than the first pirate vessels. Heavier armor. More weapons. On the Resolute, alarms sounded softly. Confirmed hostile signatures, said the tactical officer. Matching pirate clan markings. They came looking for their fleet, another officer added. Captain Reed watched the screen carefully. The pirate reinforcements paused when they saw the wreckage. Then they saw the Resolute. One of the new ships sent a transmission. You destroyed our ships, the pirate commander said. You will answer for this. Reed replied without raising his voice. They attacked a civilian vessel. Withdraw now. The pirate commander laughed harshly. This sector does not belong to Earth. Reed's eyes remained steady. No, he said. But the rules of basic decency do. The pirate ships powered weapons. On the light of dawn, the alien crew watched in fear. They are outnumbered, Lyra whispered. Aaron shook his head slowly as he studied the Terran warship. I do not think that matters. On the Resolute, Captain Reed gave quiet orders. All batteries ready. Fighter wings launch. From hidden bays, smaller Terran fighter craft shot into space. They moved fast, forming tight formations around the larger warship. The pirate fleet advanced. The first exchange of fire lit up the system again. Plasma blasts struck Terran shields, which flared but did not break. Human railguns fired in controlled bursts. One pirate destroyer lost its shield in seconds. The humans did not rush. They did not chase. They held position between the pirates and the civilian ship, protecting. A pirate vessel attempted to circle around toward the light of dawn. Captain Reed's voice cut across his bridge. Target flanking vessel. Disable. 3 precise shots hit the pirate ship's engines. It spun out of control. The remaining pirate commander saw his forces weakening. You defend strangers, he growled over open channel. Why? Reed answered with simple words. Because someone has to. The battle continued for several more minutes, but the result was clear. The pirate reinforcements finally pulled back, retreating into warp and leaving behind damaged ships and silent wreckage. Silence returned once more. On the light of dawn, the crew stared at the massive Terran ship that had just faced two pirate fleets without fear. Aaron felt something shift inside. The galaxy had always described humans as dangerous. Now, Aaron understood something important. They were, but not without reason. And for the first time since the attack began, the crew of Light of Dawn felt truly safe. What the galaxy feared. The damaged pirate ships drifted in silence. Some were broken. Some were barely alive with weak power signals. The rest had escaped into warp, running from a fight they believed they could win. The Resolute remained steady in the center of the system. Its shields were still active. Its weapons were still warm. Inside the Terran warship, there was no cheering. "Damage report," Captain Reed said. "Shields at 84%, replied the tactical officer. "Minor surface impact on outer hull. No internal damage." "Casualties?" "None." Reed nodded once. "Begin recovery of debris. Secure pirate vessels. We do not leave problems behind." On the light of dawn, Captain Aaron watched everything through the main screen. The humans were not just strong in battle. They were organized after it. Small Terran ships moved through the field of wreckage. They scanned damaged pirate vessels. Boarding teams returned with prisoners. Explosive charges were placed on empty hulls to prevent future use. "They clean the battlefield," Lyra said quietly. "Yes," Aaron replied. "They finish what they start." A message came through from the Resolute. "Civilian vessel, prepare for escort. We will move to safe space." Aaron opened the channel. Understood. But before the ships could move, a new signal reached both vessels. It was not a pirate transmission. It came from deeper space, from far beyond the system. A tight, encrypted burst. On the Resolute, the communications officer frowned. "Unknown source. High-level encryption. Origin point unclear." Captain Reed studied the data. "Open it." The message appeared as translated text across the main display. "To the Terran vessel in Sector 97. You have interfered with clan operations. You will answer for this." There was no signature. No clear identity. But the threat was obvious. Reed did not look surprised. "Track origin," he ordered. Signal bounced through multiple relays. Professional routing. Reed folded his arms behind his back. "Send response." The bridge grew quiet. Reed spoke clearly into the channel. "This is Captain Reed of the Earth Defense Fleet. If your operations involve attacking civilians, then yes, we will interfere. Choose your next action carefully." The transmission was sent. No reply came. Hours later, the Resolute and Light of Dawn began moving together through space. The Terran warship stayed slightly ahead and above the alien vessel, forming a protective wall. Inside the alien ship, human engineers continued helping with repairs. Terran medics monitored injured crew members. One alien engineer watched a human technician replace a damaged power relay with simple tools. "You carry spare parts for systems not your own?" the alien asked. The human gave a small smile. "We carry spare parts for everything." "Why?" "Because space breaks things." The alien thought about that answer for a long time. In the Galactic Council chambers far from the battle, reports were starting to arrive. Trade ships had detected energy spikes. Long-range sensors recorded weapon fire. Fragments of pirate distress calls were intercepted. One council representative stood before the chamber. The humans engaged two pirate fleets without authorization. Murmurs filled the room. Another representative spoke carefully. "Did they start the conflict?" "No," came the reply. "They responded to a civilian distress signal." The room grew quieter. An older delegate leaned forward. "Humans are classified as a high-risk species. Extreme world of origin. Violent history. Rapid military expansion." "Yes," the first speaker agreed. "But they protected a weaker vessel." Silence followed. The galaxy had always feared Earth. High gravity. Deadly wildlife. Centuries of war before unity. Humans survived because they fought. But now they were fighting for others. That changed things. Back aboard the Resolute, Captain Reed stood alone in the observation deck. Stars moved slowly outside the thick glass. His first officer entered quietly. "Sir, do you think they will retaliate?" Reed did not turn. "Yes." "In greater numbers?" "Yes." The officer hesitated. "And we will respond?" Reed finally looked at him. "We do not hunt conflict," he said calmly, "but we do not run from it." The officer nodded. Humans had learned that lesson long ago. On Earth, survival had never been optional. Storms destroyed cities. Predators hunted in forests. Disease spread without warning. Humanity survived because it adapted, because it prepared, because it refused to let fear control action. On the bridge of the Light of Dawn, Captain Aaron studied Earth's public data files that had been shared during escort procedures. The information was shocking. Humans evolved with large predators. They survived ice ages. They fought global wars and still rebuilt their planet. One file showed old Earth footage of rescue workers running into burning buildings. Another showed soldiers carrying wounded civilians from battle zones. "They are violent," Lyra said softly. "Yes," Aaron replied. "But they are also protective." Aaron looked again at the massive shape of the Resolute ahead of them. Perhaps the galaxy misunderstood humans. They were not dangerous because they enjoyed destruction. They were dangerous because they had learned how to endure it. A new message arrived from the Resolute. "We are nearing safe coordinates. Prepare for warp transition." Aaron gave the order. As both ships prepared to jump to faster-than-light speed, Aaron felt something new. Not fear. Not confusion. Respect. The aliens had sent an SOS without knowing who would hear it. Now they understood. The signal had reached Earth. And Earth did not ignore calls for help. But somewhere beyond known space, the pirate clan that lost its ships was gathering strength. And next time, they would not come unprepared. Lessons in survival. The Light of Dawn floated behind the massive Resolute, moving steadily toward the coordinates the Terran captain had provided. The alien crew had begun to recover from the shock of the battle, but the tension remained. Every creak of the hull, every flicker of the lights reminded them of how close they had come to total destruction. Captain Aaron walked through the corridors of his ship. Terran engineers were still aboard, repairing critical systems and reinforcing damaged hull sections. Pipes had been replaced, energy conduits rewired, and life support stabilized. Each human moved with quiet precision, checking their work twice before moving on. "This is incredible," whispered Lyra, watching a human lift a heavy section of metal with what looked like ease. "They treat repairs like a drill. Every move counted." Aaron nodded. "Not a drill. Discipline." In one corner, a small human medical unit tended to the injured alien crew. One alien engineer, barely conscious, opened his eyes as a medic scanned him with a handheld device. "You're lucky," the medic said. "No permanent damage. Just fatigue and shock. You'll be fine." The alien engineer tried to speak, but could not. The human placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Relax. You're safe now. That's all that matters." Aaron watched the scene quietly. These humans were violent in battle, but here, in their care, there was patience, understanding, and focus. Meanwhile, the Resolute led the convoy through the dark, quiet space between star systems. The ship's massive engines emitted a soft hum, and smaller support crafts flanked both sides, forming a protective barrier. Captain Reed stood on the bridge, watching the system pass through long-range sensors. "Any further hostile signatures?" Reed asked. "None," replied the tactical officer. "No signs of incoming fleets. Pirate activity appears to have retreated." Reed did not relax. He understood the galaxy. He knew pirates, war clans, and mercenaries would not forgive defeat. They would come again, stronger, faster, and more prepared. "Prepare defensive formations anyway," he said. "We move as if we expect an attack at every moment." The officers nodded, familiar with Reed's style. Humans never waited for disaster. They prepared for it. On the Light of Dawn, Captain Aaron requested a private communication with Captain Reed. The Terran appeared on the main screen, expression calm but serious. Why help us? Aaron asked. We were just a small research ship. You did not hesitate. Reed's eyes did not waver. We respond to distress signals. That is enough reason. Aaron frowned. You could have destroyed the pirates, yes. But you could have ignored them, too. Many others would have. Reed's voice was quiet. Survival is not about fear. It is about choice. We choose to protect. That is what makes us strong. Aaron leaned back, absorbing the weight of the words. Humans were dangerous, yes, but not reckless. They measured risk, acted decisively, and protected those who could not defend themselves. Hours later, the convoy reached a neutral system known for its safety and low traffic. The Light of Dawn docked at a large station while the Resolute hovered nearby, ready to defend. In the station, alien officials and traders observed the human ship with caution and fear. Ships like the Resolute were rare. They were legends. Stories of Deathworlders, humans from Earth, had spread across the galaxy for decades. But few had ever seen them in action. Aaron watched as humans moved through the station, not arrogantly, not boastfully. They simply walked, prepared for anything, calm in their discipline. They are terrifying, whispered Lyra. Yes, Aaron agreed. But not for themselves. For anyone who threatens the weak. At that moment, a council of neutral traders approached Reed aboard the Resolute. Humans, one said nervously. We have heard stories. You fought 2 pirate fleets alone. You saved the civilians. Reed's expression did not change. Yes. We responded to distress. That is all. The counselors exchanged uneasy glances. They had expected arrogance, threats, or payment. Instead, the humans showed calm purpose and simple honesty. Back on the Light of Dawn, Captain Aaron gathered his crew. We have learned something important, he said. Earth, or the humans who live there, survive because they prepare. They do not panic. They protect. They endure. That is their power. Lyra nodded slowly. And we were lucky they answered our call. Yes, Aaron said. If they had been different, we would not be alive. Outside, the massive Resolute glimmered in the distance. Its engines pulsed softly, ready to respond at a moment's notice. The pirate fleets had been defeated, but Aaron knew that this victory was only temporary. The galaxy was large, and not all enemies would respect Earth's rules. But for the first time, he felt hope. Not because the humans were invincible, but because they fought for others. That made them unpredictable. That made them dangerous to anyone who preyed on the weak. As the alien crew prepared to continue their mission, now repaired and stabilized, Captain Aaron looked back at the massive warship protecting them. The galaxy had sent them into chaos. Humans had responded. And for the aliens of the Light of Dawn, that response was worth more than any battle, any lesson, or any warning. It was proof that some beings were dangerous because they chose to protect. And that choice, Aaron realized, was more powerful than any weapon. Word count, 770. The truth about Earth. The Light of Dawn rested at the neutral station, its hull patched and systems stabilized. The alien crew moved carefully through the corridors, still in awe of the humans who had saved them. Captain Aaron walked beside Lyra, both silent as they watched Terran medics finish their work and engineers check every system. They're not just soldiers, Lyra said softly. They heal. They fix. They protect. Aaron nodded. Yes. And they do it without hesitation. Without question. That is frightening. Curiosity overcame fear. Aaron approached a human engineer replacing a damaged power conduit. You do this for every ship? He asked. The engineer glanced up. Every ship. Every crew. Every time. But why? Aaron pressed. The humans smiled faintly. Because that's what we do. Life matters. No one survives alone in space. Aaron looked at the massive Resolute looming outside the station's docking bay. Its size and power were staggering. Its presence alone kept any potential threats at bay. And yet, the humans treated it like a tool, not a weapon of fear. While the crew rested, the aliens were given access to human archives. They expected military files, weapon schematics, battle records. Instead, they found history. Long, detailed records of Earth's past. Humans had lived through disasters, disease, wars, and environmental collapse. Entire cities had burned, and yet they rebuilt. They had fought invaders, both alien and terrestrial, and survived. Every generation adapted. Every generation endured. Lyra ran her clawed hands across the datapad. They survived everything? Yes, Aaron said, scrolling through images of Earth from centuries past. Fires, storms, plagues, wars. And yet, they never gave up. One image caught Aaron's attention: humans carrying the wounded from a collapsed building. Another, a small crew protecting settlers from wild predators. Every record showed the same pattern. Humans were not only survivors, they were protectors. They fight, Lyra whispered, but only when they have to. They protect the weak, even when it is dangerous. Aaron nodded. That is the key. Their strength comes from survival, yes, but their power comes from choice. They choose to protect, not dominate. At the station, Captain Reed gave a quiet briefing to his officers. The Terrans had secured the system, repaired the civilian ship, and ensured no remaining pirate threat lingered. Yet Reed knew this was only the beginning. Reports show remnants of the pirate clan may regroup, Reed said. They will strike again, larger and more organized. We must be ready. His first officer frowned. Sir, they are skilled fighters. Could they pose a serious threat? They may, Reed said calmly. But humans are not defined by skill alone. We endure, adapt, and protect. That is what makes us dangerous. Back on the light of dawn, Aaron spoke to his crew. We believed the galaxy was full of strong civilizations, he said. We thought survival meant weapons and strategy. But these humans, their strength is different. They survive by enduring, and they fight not for glory, but for others. One alien engineer shook his head. They are terrifying, and yet honorable. Yes, Aaron replied. Terrifying to those who attack the weak. Honorable to those who need help. The crew began to understand. Humans were not just another advanced species. They were Deathworlders. They had evolved on a planet designed to kill them at every turn. Every predator, every storm, every disaster had made them stronger. Every challenge had taught them endurance, strategy, and compassion. They are built to survive anything, Lyra said, and protect anyone who asks for help. Aaron nodded slowly. We were lucky they heard us. Even as they rested, the aliens could feel the presence of the Resolute. Its massive form loomed like a sentinel, reminding them that Earth did not act from fear. It acted from principle. It acted because survival was not enough. It was the choice to protect others that defined humanity. For the first time, Captain Aaron felt a sense of understanding. The galaxy had feared humans not only for their power, but because their power was shaped by the harshest conditions imaginable. They were the ultimate survivors and the ultimate protectors. Lyra looked out the observation window, her eyes fixed on the enormous warship. We called for help, she said. And they came. Not just to fight, but to save us. Aaron nodded. And that is why humans are the galaxy's most feared species. Not for conquest. Not for war. But because they endure and they protect. That is something no one can predict and no one can stop. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. The pirate threat might return. The galaxy was still dangerous. But the aliens now knew the truth. Humans were not just survivors. They were Deathworlders. And those who called for help would never be left alone. Word count, 770. Shockwaves across the galaxy. The neutral station was quiet after the battle. The light of dawn had been repaired, and the alien crew prepared to resume their mission. Yet the story of what had happened did not stay quiet for long. Long-range sensors of passing trade ships had picked up the massive energy signatures. Communications relays across nearby systems transmitted fragmented reports. By the time the story reached the nearest council outpost, everyone knew that a small research vessel had been attacked, and that humans from Earth had arrived in force. In the council chambers, representatives from dozens of species gathered, murmuring nervously. The images of the battle were displayed on the main holographic screen. The destroyed pirate cruisers, the massive human warship holding its position, and the captured pirate flagship. "This cannot be true," said one delegate, a tall, thin species with pale blue skin. "A single Terran ship destroyed 2 entire fleets and saved the civilians." "Yes," another replied, shaking their multi-jointed arms. "We have the sensors. The pirates are defeated, their ships disabled or destroyed. And the humans did not even appear to celebrate." Murmurs spread like wildfire. Many species in the Council had feared humanity for decades. Earth was classified as a Level 12 death world. Extreme gravity, lethal wildlife, constant tectonic instability, and unpredictable climate. Most species avoided contact entirely. Now, the story confirmed their worst fears. Humans were not only survivors, they were willing to fight for others. One older delegate, gray-skinned and stooped, tapped a claw against the table. They responded to a civilian distress call, the delegate said slowly. Not for profit. Not for territory. They acted to protect. That is unprecedented. A younger representative frowned. "We have feared humans for years. Dangerous, yes. But capable of mercy? Capable of protecting others without gain? It is unsettling." The older delegate nodded. "Not unsettling. Respectable. Deadly." Across the galaxy, messages spread quickly. Traders, explorers, and independent pilots discussed the events in hushed tones. The word Deathworlders took on new meaning. Humans were not only dangerous in combat, they were disciplined, precise, and willing to act for those in need. Pirate groups began to worry. The clan that had lost its fleets started sending scouts into unclaimed systems. "We must understand them," one pirate commander said. "If humans respond to any distress call, no ship is safe. We cannot attack lightly." Meanwhile, in neutral trade stations, many species began recalculating their approach to interstellar travel. Convoys requested human escorts, even before human ships were available. Merchants whispered, "Call the Deathworlders if you need help. Call them once, and they will come." The aliens aboard the Light of Dawn overheard traders discussing humans in the station's common area. Aaron's eyes widened. "They already fear them," he said softly. "Yes," Lyra said. "And we saw why. We were saved. Not because of power, but because humans protect." Aaron nodded slowly. "The galaxy will not forget this." On the Resolute, Captain Reed reviewed long-range scans. He knew the Council was watching. The neutral systems had sensors everywhere, sending reports back to distant governments. Every species now had proof of humanity's abilities, not just as warriors, but as protectors. "Prepare for incoming communications," Reed said. "Expect questions. Expect challenges. And expect the Council to react." His first officer glanced at him. "Sir, are they ready for us to explain ourselves? To justify our actions?" Reed's eyes narrowed. "We do not need to justify. The galaxy will understand. They will learn." Even as the news spread, the human crew aboard the Resolute did not celebrate. They remained disciplined, ready to act again if needed. Their focus was always on protection, not fame or reputation. Back on the Light of Dawn, Captain Aaron gathered his crew in the common hall. "Listen carefully," he said. "The galaxy has seen humans in action. They are feared not just for their weapons, but because of what they represent. Survival, strength, protection, and the choice to act when others cannot." Lyra looked at him, still in awe. "We barely understood it ourselves," she said. "And now the whole galaxy will know." "Yes," Aaron said. "This battle will change everything. Humans are dangerous, but not for themselves. They are dangerous for anyone who attacks the weak. That is the truth of their power." Outside, through the station's observation windows, the massive Resolute rested like a sentinel. Its engines glowed faintly, ready at any moment. The galaxy had seen a glimpse of what Deathworlders could do. And somewhere far beyond known space, the pirate clan that had lost its ships began preparations. They had seen the reports too. They would return. And when they did, the humans would be waiting. Captain Aaron knew one thing clearly. The galaxy was beginning to realize the same truth he had learned firsthand. Humans survived because they endured. Humans fought because they chose to. And humans protected because no one else would. For every species in the galaxy, that revelation sent shockwaves stronger than any weapon. The story of the Light of Dawn and the Resolute would travel far and fast. And the legend of the Deathworlders had only just begun. Word count, 770. Retaliation brewing. Far beyond the neutral system where the Light of Dawn had found safety, the remnants of the pirate clan regrouped. In a dark, industrial space station hidden among dense asteroid fields, the leaders gathered. Their ships were battered, their crews shaken, and their pride shattered. "This was a disaster," growled one pirate commander. His voice rattled through the room, amplified by the metal walls. "3 of our ships destroyed by a single Terran warship, and all because of a small civilian vessel." Another pirate spat on the floor. "They are not just strong. They are monsters. Deathworlders. The humans, they came for us. And they protected the weak." A younger pirate shook his head. "We underestimated them. We thought the Terran would not respond. We were wrong. Dead wrong." The oldest commander, scarred and silent for most of the meeting, finally spoke. His voice was low, but every word carried weight. "We will strike again. Not as pirates. Not as a fleet of scattered raiders. We will return stronger, smarter, and we will make the humans pay for interfering." The room fell silent. Every pirate present understood the danger. Humans were not just warriors, they were Deathworlders. And Deathworlders did not fight like anyone else in the galaxy. "We need a plan," the older commander continued. "The Resolute is too powerful for direct assault. Their weapons, their shields, their boarding teams, we cannot face them head-on. We must strike in numbers, and we must strike unexpectedly." One pirate officer spoke, nervously tapping his console. "We can gather more fleets from other sectors. Mercenaries. Private armies. We have allies. It will take time, but we can rebuild our strength." "Time," the old commander said slowly, "is what they have. And we have none. Humans do not wait for threats. They prepare, they calculate, they strike when necessary. That is why our first attack failed. Next time, we must force the fight to favor us." The younger pirates shifted uneasily. "We attack where they least expect us?" "Yes," the commander said. "And we make it personal. We target civilians, research vessels, anything that draws them out. Make them reveal their forces. Make them expend their strength. Then and only then do we strike for revenge." The room fell silent again. No one spoke. They all knew the risks. Humans were unpredictable, brutal, and efficient. Yet the desire for revenge burned brighter than fear. Back at the neutral station, the alien crew of the Light of Dawn worked quietly alongside their human protectors. The crew had begun to regain some confidence after the battle, unaware of the plotting happening far beyond the system. Captain Aaron walked to the observation deck, gazing at the stars. The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly before them, silent and cold. He did not speak. He could feel that something was coming. Something larger. Something prepared. Lyra approached him, sensing his unease. "Captain, you are worried?" she asked softly. Aaron shook his head slowly. "We were lucky before. The humans came to help. But the galaxy is large. Some will not forgive failure. Some will come to test humans and us." Lyra looked at him, her eyes wide. "Do you think they will attack again?" "Yes," Aaron admitted. "And this time the humans will be ready. That is both comforting and terrifying." She frowned. "Terrifying?" Aaron nodded. "Yes. Humans are dangerous, not only to their enemies, but to anyone caught in the crossfire. They do not fight for glory. They fight to protect. And that makes them unstoppable." Meanwhile, aboard the Resolute, Captain Reed reviewed long-range scans. He detected unusual movements in distant sectors, ships gathering in formations, energy signatures of unknown fleets, all moving quietly, cautiously. "Sir," said the tactical officer, "we are picking up increased pirate activity. It seems coordinated. Could be related to the previous engagement." Reed did not look surprised. It is inevitable. The galaxy does not like defeat. And humans, we do not retreat. His first officer spoke carefully. "Do we anticipate another attack?" "Yes," Reed replied. "And we will be ready. They will come. And when they do, the lesson will be the same. Humans protect the weak. That is their power. That is why they survive. That is why they cannot be stopped by fear or numbers alone." Outside the observation window, the stars of the neutral system gleamed. The Resolute's hull reflected faint starlight, massive and calm, a sentinel against the unknown dangers lurking in the darkness beyond. Captain Aaron watched it silently from the alien ship. The humans had taught them more than survival, they had shown them what courage meant. And somewhere in the dark, far away, a pirate fleet was plotting its next move. The galaxy would feel the consequences. But the Deathworlders would be ready. And that knowledge, Aaron realized, made the universe a far more dangerous place for anyone foolish enough to threaten the innocent. Word count, 770. The line in the dark. The neutral system had grown quiet again, but the humans aboard the Resolute knew the calm would not last. Sensors continued scanning the outer sectors. Long-range readings detected multiple ship signatures gathering far beyond the station. The remnants of the pirate clan were regrouping, and this time they were larger, stronger, and more organized. Captain Reed stood on the bridge, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the holographic display. "They are preparing," he said calmly. "And they will come." His first officer, Mara, frowned. "Sir, their numbers are much greater than before. Can we hold them?" Reed did not flinch. "We do not hold for numbers. We hold because we are prepared. They will learn this the moment they arrive." Back on the light of dawn, Captain Aaron walked through the corridors. The alien crew had been briefed on the increasing threat. Even with the humans protecting them, the reality of war was settling in. "We saw their power," Aaron said quietly to Lyra. "But power alone will not be enough this time. They will attack in strength, not chaos." Lyra's claws tapped nervously against the railing. "Do you think the humans can handle it?" Aaron looked toward the massive shape of the Resolute outside the station window. Its armor glinted faintly in the distant starlight, weapons ready. Humans are not like other species. They survive because they endure. They fight because they protect. That is why they cannot be stopped. In the dark reaches of space, far from any known outpost, the pirate fleet gathered. Over 24 ships moved in formation. Mercenaries, scavenged warships, and heavily armed cruisers waited for the signal. The pirate commanders had studied the battle data. They knew humans were efficient, precise, and dangerous, but they believed numbers would overwhelm even the Deathworlders. "We attack the humans directly," said one pirate commander. "We destroy their escorts first, then strike at the civilian vessels. That is how we force them into submission." Another pirate shook his head. "They are not ordinary fighters. They adapt. They protect. If we strike too quickly, we risk everything." The older commander, scarred and patient, leaned back in his chair. "We have no choice. The galaxy will not wait for us to recover. We must act. They underestimated us once. Never again." On the bridge of the Resolute, Captain Reed studied the approaching fleet on the long-range sensors. The number of ships was significant, but their formation was predictable. "Status of civilian vessel?" he asked. "Stable," replied the operations officer. "No further repairs needed. Crew ready for evacuation, if necessary." "Good," Reed said. "Keep them behind us. They remain our priority." The human crew moved quickly to prepare defensive positions. Fighter wings were loaded into launch bays. Railgun batteries were calibrated for long-range precision strikes. Electronic countermeasures were tested and retested. Every crew member knew their role. Every system was checked. "They will come through this," Reed said quietly, more to himself than anyone else. Back on the light of dawn, Aaron gathered his crew. "Listen carefully," he said. The humans fight differently. They do not attack for glory. They do not retreat from danger. They protect the weak. And that is why they are dangerous. The aliens nodded, trying to absorb the lesson. They had witnessed humans destroy 2 pirate fleets before with precision, efficiency, and calm. But this time would be different. They will not wait for us to fight alone, Aaron added. We must trust them. Our survival depends on it. As the pirate fleet moved closer, sensors detected their formation tightening. Communication attempts were ignored by the humans. The pirates sent warnings, threats, ultimatums, even insults. But the Resolute remained silent. Mara spoke quietly to Reed. They are baiting us. Do we engage immediately? Reed shook his head.
No.
We will not rush. We will act on our terms. They will learn the hard way that humans do not fight blindly. We set the rules, not them. The stars outside stretched endlessly. Ships moved through the void, preparing for a battle that would decide not just the fate of one research vessel, but the reputation of humanity across the galaxy. Captain Aaron looked at the massive Terran warship. He realized something that the rest of the galaxy might not understand yet. Humans were not merely survivors. They were Deathworlders, forged in a planet that tried to kill them at every turn. Their strength was not in weapons alone, but in endurance, strategy, and the choice to protect others, even in the darkest moments. They will strike, Aaron whispered. And when they do, the line is clear. The humans will defend. And anything foolish enough to threaten the weak will pay the price. Outside, the pirate fleet continued its advance, unaware that the Resolute had already calculated every possible move, every weak point, and every contingency. The stage was set. The battle was coming. And for the first time, the aliens of the Light of Dawn truly understood what it meant to call for help, and to have the galaxy's most dangerous species answer. Word count, 770. The first strike. The darkness of space stretched endlessly, broken only by the distant light of stars and the faint glow of the neutral station. The Light of Dawn rested in dock, its alien crew tense but ready. Outside, the Resolute hovered like a colossal shadow, engines humming softly, weapons systems calibrated and ready. Captain Reed stood on the bridge, observing the approaching pirate fleet. Dozens of ships moved in tight formation, scanning for weak points, analyzing sensor readings. The pirates believed numbers could defeat the humans. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Status. Reed asked quietly. All systems nominal, reported the tactical officer. Fighter wings ready. Railguns charged. Shields at full strength. Pirate fleet closing in at 0.8 light speed. Reed's eyes narrowed slightly. Launch preemptive drones. Scan for hidden weapons. Keep the fleet in formation. Prepare to intercept, but do not fire until I give the order. In the corridors of the Light of Dawn, Captain Aaron gathered his crew. The alien scientists and engineers had spent days learning from the humans. They had repaired their ship, stabilized their systems, and even begun adapting minor defensive protocols under human guidance. Listen, Aaron said. The humans do not fight like any species we know. They do not rely on numbers or intimidation. They fight because they protect, and they fight with precision. Follow their lead.
Stay calm.
Trust them. Lyra glanced at the massive Resolute outside. And if we are in danger? Aaron gave a firm nod. Then we survive. And the humans will fight for us. That is enough. Back on the Resolute, the bridge crew watched the pirate fleet advance. The lead pirate ship transmitted a warning. Humans, leave this sector or die. We are many. You are alone. Reed did not respond. He had learned long ago that threats were meaningless. Action mattered more than words. Prepare the first strike, he ordered. Target the lead ship and its escorts. Launch fighters in staggered formation. Keep the civilian vessel safe behind us. Rails glowed faintly along the warship's hull. Small fighter pods detached, moving like silver shadows into the void. The pirates did not expect precision attacks. They assumed a human response would be chaotic, defensive, but humans did not act blindly. The first railgun shot from the Resolute traveled across space at near-light speed, hitting the lead pirate cruiser with perfect accuracy. The explosion tore through the enemy ship, severing its engines and leaving it drifting helplessly. "First strike successful," reported the tactical officer. Another pirate ship attempted to flank the humans. In response, a squadron of fighter pods zipped around it, disabling its weapon systems before it could fire. The pirate ship scrambled, disorganized, and surprised. Captain Reed's calm voice cut through the bridge. "Keep pressure constant. Shield the civilian vessel. Target only ships that threaten us. Precision, not chaos." On the light of dawn, the alien crew watched the display screens in awe. Each human fighter pod moved like a predator, coordinated and deadly. Each railgun shot struck exactly where it was needed. There was no hesitation, no waste. Even under threat, the humans remained disciplined, steady, and focused on protecting others. "They are unstoppable," Lyra whispered. Aaron shook his head. "Not unstoppable. Careful.
Calculated.
They do not seek to destroy for power. They destroy to protect. That makes all the difference." The pirate fleet realized too late that numbers did not guarantee victory. The lead commander tried to rally his ships, but humans adapted faster than they could coordinate. One by one, pirate ships were disabled or forced into retreat. Some fled through warp, hoping to escape, while others were destroyed entirely. Despite their losses, the pirates' resolve hardened. They would not retreat forever. They would regroup. They would strike again. But for now, the first strike had been made. Humans had proven what they were capable of. They had set a line in the dark. No attack on the weak would go unanswered. After the battle, Captain Reed returned his attention to the light of dawn. "Civilian vessel, report," he said. "All systems stable," Aaron replied. "Crew is safe. Thanks to you." Reed's expression remained calm, almost neutral. "That is why we fight. You are welcome." Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, but the galaxy had already begun to change. Whispers of the Deathworlders' actions spread through trade networks, council chambers, and pirate clans. Humans were not only survivors, they were protectors, precise and dangerous beyond measure. Captain Aaron looked at the massive Terran warship and realized that the galaxy would never see humans the same way again. They were not conquerors. They were guardians. And anyone foolish enough to threaten the weak would learn that lesson the hard way. The first strike had been made. The galaxy was taking notice. Word count, 770. The calm before the storm. After the first strike, the neutral system seemed calm again. The debris from the pirate ships floated silently in the void, some pieces drifting dangerously close to the station. The light of dawn remained docked, its systems repaired and stabilized, while the Resolute patrolled nearby, massive and unyielding, a silent guardian. Captain Aaron walked along the corridors, observing his crew as they prepared for the next phase of their journey. Even with the humans defending them, there was an unspoken tension. The galaxy had been reminded of Earth's strength, but retaliation could come at any moment. "They will regroup," Aaron said quietly to Lyra. "And when they do, they will come for us and the humans." Lyra frowned, her claws tapping nervously against the metal railing. "Do you think we are ready?" Aaron shook his head slowly. "No one is ever ready. But the humans, they will adapt. That is what makes them dangerous to anyone who attacks the weak." On the Resolute, Captain Reed reviewed long-range scans with his officers. The pirate remnants were scattered, but not destroyed. Some were heading toward Allied sectors to recruit reinforcements. Others hid in uncharted systems, waiting for an opportunity to strike. "Sir," said the tactical officer, "they are gathering resources, weapons, and ships. Estimates suggest they could return with double their original strength within weeks." Reed's expression remained calm. "Let them gather. When they come, they will find humans prepared. That is enough." The first officer spoke carefully. "Will they strike the civilian vessel again?" "Possibly," Reed replied. "And if they do, we will respond. That is our duty. That is what humans do." Meanwhile, the alien crew on the Light of Dawn studied the Terran systems and protocols. They had been amazed by the humans' ability to coordinate, to repair, and to protect. Yet, they also began to understand the full extent of what they had witnessed. Humans were dangerous not only because of strength but because of endurance, strategy, and unwavering resolve. "They are unlike any species we know," Lyra whispered. "They survive because the galaxy is harsh. They fight because others need protection. And no one can predict their actions." Aaron nodded. "We saw it firsthand. They are Deathworlders, born from a planet that tried to kill them at every turn. Every predator, every storm, every disaster forged their bodies, their minds, and their choices. They fight not for conquest," Lyra said slowly. "They fight because they must.
To protect.
To endure." "Yes," Aaron replied. "That is why the galaxy fears them. That is why the pirates failed. That is why the next attack will be different, but humans will be ready." In the council chambers, reports of the first strike had reached the galaxy's leaders. Images of destroyed pirate ships and the Resolute's disciplined maneuvers were transmitted throughout multiple sectors. Whispers spread quickly. Humans were not just survivors. They were protectors. One representative from a distant system spoke to her colleagues. They fought to protect a single civilian vessel. Not for profit. Not for territory. For mercy. A younger delegate shook their head. And yet they destroyed entire fleets in the process. "They are dangerous and disciplined." "Yes," the older representative agreed. "They are Deathworlders. That is why no species has been able to dominate them. That is why any attack on the weak in their presence is a gamble that ends badly." Back at the neutral station, Aaron watched the Resolute from the observation deck. Its hull glimmered faintly in the light of distant stars, a sentinel ready for anything. He realized that humans were more than warriors. They were guardians. Every strike they had made was calculated, precise, and merciful to those who surrendered. "They fight because they choose to," Aaron whispered. "Not because they hate, not because they seek power. They fight for survival, and for others. That is why they cannot be ignored." Lyra rested beside him. "Do you think the pirates will try again?" "Yes," Aaron replied. "And when they do, the humans will be ready. That is the lesson the galaxy must learn. Survival is one thing. Protection is something else entirely. And humans combine both." The stars stretched endlessly, quiet and calm. Yet beyond the edges of known space, the pirate fleet was regrouping, preparing their next move. They did not yet understand the full extent of human strength. They did not yet understand what it meant to fight Deathworlders who protected the weak. Aaron felt a mixture of fear and hope. Humans were dangerous, yes. But they were dangerous for a reason. They fought for life, for justice, and for survival, not for conquest. And that was a force no pirate, no clan, and no fleet could underestimate. The calm before the storm had begun. And when the storm came, the Deathworlders would be waiting. Word count, 770. The last lesson. The void of space stretched endlessly, filled with faint stars and the cold hum of distant engines. The light of dawn floated behind the Resolute, calm but alert. The alien crew had grown accustomed to the humans' presence, but the tension in the air was unmistakable. They all knew the pirates were returning, stronger and more determined than ever. Captain Aaron walked the observation deck, gazing at the massive human warship. Its hull reflected the starlight, calm and unyielding. There was no arrogance in its stance. It did not need to intimidate. Its presence alone spoke volumes. "They are patient," Lyra said softly beside him. "Quiet before the storm." "Yes," Aaron replied. "But patient does not mean weak. The galaxy underestimates humans because they do not boast. But when they act, it is precise and deadly." On the bridge of the Resolute, Captain Reed studied long-range sensors. The pirate fleet had returned, nearly twice its original size. The ships moved cautiously, attempting to avoid detection while coordinating their attack. But humans anticipated every move. Every approach vector was scanned, every signal analyzed. Fighter wings, prepare for launch, Reed ordered. Railguns, calibrate for first contact. Shields, maintain maximum strength. Keep the civilian vessel behind us. His first officer nodded. Sir, they are larger than before. More ships, more weapons. This may be their final attempt. Reed's eyes narrowed. Then we will make it their last mistake. We do not fight for glory. We fight because it is necessary. We fight to protect. That is why we survive. The pirate fleet emerged from the darkness. Dozens of ships, mercenaries, and warlords gathered into tight formation. They fired warning blasts toward the Resolute, hoping to provoke a reaction. Reed did not respond. The human warship remained still, a sentinel waiting for the proper moment. The pirates assumed hesitation meant weakness. They underestimated humans once more. Suddenly, the first fighter pods launched from the Resolute. They moved like shadows through space, fast and precise. Each pod struck critical systems of the pirate fleet before their weapons could even fire. Railgun shots from the main ship disabled engines, severed communications, and destroyed weapons platforms. On the light of dawn, Aaron and his crew watched in awe. Humans were not fighting for revenge or honor, they were fighting to protect. Every move was calculated. Every strike was decisive. They are unstoppable, Lyra whispered. Aaron shook his head. Not unstoppable. Careful. Deliberate. Humans fight for others, not for themselves. That is their strength. That is why the galaxy fears them. The pirate commanders attempted to regroup. Their flagship fired volleys of plasma, trying to overwhelm the human shields. But the Resolute adapted instantly. Each attack was countered with precise fire, targeting weapons, engines, and vulnerable points. Sir, said the tactical officer, enemy formation breaking apart. Their lead ships are disabled. Remaining vessels are retreating. Reed nodded. Do not allow them to escape. Keep pressure constant. Disable, but minimize casualties when possible. Protect life where we can. The pirates realized the full extent of human power. It was not in numbers. It was not in size. It was in strategy, endurance, and the willingness to protect those who could not defend themselves. Panic spread across their fleets as more ships were disabled or surrendered. Some pirates attempted to flee through warp. Reed's tactical team intercepted their signals, forcing them to retreat or abandon their ships. By the end of the engagement, the pirate threat was broken. Not annihilated, but decisively defeated. The Resolute remained intact, the light of dawn safe, and the alien crew unharmed. After the battle, the alien crew gathered on the observation deck. Captain Aaron turned to Lyra, his eyes reflecting a mixture of awe and respect. They are more than warriors, he said. They survive because they endure. They fight because it is necessary. They protect because they choose to. That is the lesson of humans. Lyra nodded slowly. And that is why the galaxy fears them. Not because they enjoy violence, but because they act when others cannot. They protect the weak. Aaron looked at the massive shape of the Resolute outside. We called for help. We did not know who would answer. But humans they came. And they fought not for themselves, but for us. That is something no enemy can ever understand until it is too late. In the quiet after the battle, the stars seemed to shine brighter. The pirate threat had been stopped, but the lesson had been delivered. Across the galaxy, tales of humans the Deathworlders spread. Their reputation was no longer only about danger and survival. It was about choice. It was about protection. And somewhere in the darkness, those who would challenge the weak again would think twice. Captain Aaron realized the final truth. Humans were terrifying not for their power, not for their weapons, but for what they chose to do with it. They fought to survive. They fought to protect. And they fought because someone had to. That was the last lesson the galaxy would ever learn.